Working with nature. Stories from Kenya's Lake region. Across Kenya's Lake region, a silent crisis is unfolding. Climate change is reshaping landscapes, while biodiversity loss is weakening the systems that sustain life. Temperatures are rising, rainfall is becoming unpredictable, ecosystems are degrading. For communities here, this is not a distant threat. It is real, it is daily, it is personal. But across this region, a different story is emerging. Communities are not fighting nature, they are working with it. These are nature-based climate actions, practical solutions that restore ecosystems, strengthen livelihoods, and improve human health. To understand how these solutions work in practice, the BIOCAM project is conducting deep dive fieldwork across Nandi, Vihiga, and Kisumu. The goal is to understand what works, what doesn't, and why.
Yeah, my name is Humphrey Agevi. Tumekuja hapa na ningependa kumshukuru Kevin Makova na Bwana Mbai ambao wamehusika kuwakusanya nyinyi wote kuja hapa ili tuweze kuona ni what interventions are being carried in this county towards climate change.
I'm Rosemary Gumba. I'm a member of Grassroots Impact Center, Sondu. Now I'm the treasurer in that group, and mostly we deal with the climate related activities. Now we also deal with the other related climate activities like peacekeeping, empowering women, and we also teach women on the use and care or the conservation of the environment, either by the we have firewood that we used to use in the olden days that we used for cooking. Now we are trying to advise our mothers that it is not advisable these days to use firewood because we are interfering with the environment, and we are teaching them on the alternative cooking methods. So those are some of the things we do. We empower women socially, mentally, and spiritually, and even emotionally.
I want to put it in 3 areas. One, we've seen a lot of progress around the issue of afforestation, and people are now growing even now other types of trees, the fruit trees, the other. Look at the farms, they are now doing agroforestry. This with us. 2, we are looking at the issue of health around the climate change. We used to see a lot of water-related diseases previously, but now they are coming down. We're also looking at around activities around poverty reduction around homes. You are seeing now people are now moving towards activities like beekeeping to be able to look at sustenance of their own lives. They're also doing activities on fruit crops which they sell and make money. So at least there's an element of poverty reduction around homes. Yeah.
My names are Oliver Sise. I'm a resident of Hamisi constituency in Vihiga County. I am a very ardent supporter of environmental sustainability. So my first role in the community is a waste manager. I deal with all wastes, but especially organic waste, so that I make compost manure and chicken and animal feed, black soldier fly lab. So I'm into a lot of issues on waste management, and then also on tree planting, because we make the compost and then we do a lot of trees.
For communities, Working with nature is a way of life. They speak of changing seasons, decline in soil fertility, and growing uncertainty, but also of resilience, planting trees, conserving water, restoring land.
Working with the nature means you are helping or you are trying to find out ways on how nature can be supportive to you and you can be a disadvantage to the nature.
Working with nature just like it is like kind of being resilient to weather that is there. Because at times, like in our area here, there's a season when you experience a lot of floods, and there's also a season when you experience a lot of drought. So it is like just being resilient to the weather that is there. Yeah.
Who makes decisions? Who participates? Who benefits? When communities are involved, solutions thrive. When excluded, they fall.
Whether or not your voice is heard, it's how you feel that the people around you can benefit from it, so that your voice was not just heard, but your people will actually benefit. And I feel we take part a lot during the design stage and also during the implementation, some part of it. But then there is usually a disconnect because when the NGOs are designing it, it will always have a backstop or somebody within the county who comes back and has to do one or two issues, and that's where now the bureaucracy comes in, and we are easily left out. So we take part in designing how the project will become, but then now someone at the policy level now takes the project into a region where the site selection becomes a bit different from what we were envisioning in the first place. I feel it is a major challenge because you may design a project, but if the recipients don't actually understand why you designed the project for them, then it becomes a white elephant. So we have so many very good, whether it's from water springs, whether it's we're replanting trees in our Maragoli hills, and then doing apiary so that it becomes an income source for the community. But then now, because somebody else came in and brought in their bureaucracy into the program, the community almost feels detached from the project. So it ends up being it is a project for these people, not us as the community. So that big challenge of just removing that perception that the project is actually just supposed to help you as the community and not it belonging to somebody who initiated it.
The objective was to impact on the positive way, but like the KSAP project and this other, there's a project also by the county government that also aims at addressing these issues of climate. But in the process of implementation, this is where things don't come out well because of the procedures and the implementation process. You find the activities that are meant to benefit the people are not reaching out to them well. In the implementation process here is where there's a problem.
My name is Stephen Atela. I am actually a teacher of the deaf, and I work a lot with people who have actually disabilities in terms of making them aware about some of the activities that I actually do with their children. Apart from that, I am actually engaged in what we call community activities. In my village, that is in Nyakach, a place called Sondu, we have a community organization name Grassroots Impact Center, GIC. That is actually an organization that tries to work on the lives of the community and improving them in one way or the other. I want to reiterate, say again, that disability is not inability. The persons living with disability have potentials, they have powers, they have their strengths. So we should not ignore them. Whenever you have opportunity like this, then think about how they can be engaged. And I want to say I'm ready even to mobilize a team that can work with such like-minded people for interpretation, for dissemination of information, and for assisting these people so that they are also engaged in these particular programs. I think that would be fine. So you should find at least a budget or a place for them so that they can also be part of the development that you are trying to bring in our community. I'm ready. We have organizations of people living with disabilities. Any moment you have a program for them or for the community, think about and let me know, and I can bring on board the participation of these particular persons living with disability. I'm happy that at Grassroots Impact Center we are doing that. Our activities, you will always find an interpreter, hoping that there is actually deaf, because we have deaf in our community and other disability. So we have always interpreters. So Grassroots Impact Center has embraced inclusion and involvement of persons with disability in development projects and in activities that they do. And many a times they are very, very grateful for what is being done by Grassroots Impact Center. Even now, one of the officials in the Grassroots Impact Center is a blind person. Yeah. We have those who are physically challenged. So they always come, and that really makes the Grassroots Impact Center programs acceptable to people with disability, and they really feel part of the programs and they are happy about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That issue has been really addressed from the project development stage. And I can give a good example of the current project that we're implementing. It's called TONSA. Actually, it's an application, it's a long word. It's transforming livelihoods through climate resilient, low carbon and sustainable agricultural chains in the Lake Region economic zone. So what they did is that there is the communities engaged. They graduate gradually, and they are now incorporated in the other sectors that can support them, and mostly the cooperative. So what happens is that the first cohort, like a group of 25 to 30 members, local communities, they are trained on the three aspects of the low carbon, climate resilient and sustainable intelligence after the first 1 year, and then they have now graduated from farmer field schools to cooperatives. And then from cooperatives, now the other agencies like the Kenya Commercial Bank, Equity and other banks help them, to support them with the funds. So at the end of it, they are not left after the project ends, and then they are supported now gradually, to be sustainable in their production.
My name is Dr. Humphrey Agivi, and I've been part of the team that has been implementing the BIOCAM4 project that involves integration of biodiversity into climate adaptation and mitigation actions for planet, health and people, and human health. The project has been very successful up to where we have reached, and this is part 2 of the project. Last year in December, we were able to have a co-creation workshop that we were involved in co-creation and mapping of nature-based climate actions in the LREB region. And this phase now here, we have been involved in the deep dive now of the selected nature-based climate actions. Our engagements began in Nandi, which we are now calling the upper catchment, and then we were also in Vihiga, which we are calling the mid catchment, and then now we are in Kisumu, which we are calling the low catchment. And this catchment selection was based on the environmental flows as they flow from the upper catchment to the lower catchment and how they affect the communities. Based on this catchment, the number and nature of nature-based climate actions also vary based on the environmental flows. So we were engaging the communities, the actors, the CBOs, the NGOs, and also the implementers of the selected case studies to understand the governance frameworks, the actors, and also the effectiveness of how these nature-based climate actions have been implemented. And we have learned quite a lot from it. And in terms of learning, we have found out that it is important to involve all the actors in terms of implementation. But what comes out strongly is the community. Communities play a critical role because they're the ones who also enhance sustainability of these actions. They also bring about ownership, which builds trust. And in this case, then that means that such actions can be upscaled to other areas where they were not implemented. And of course, there are challenges that we have also encountered, and through that, the communities were able to provide some of the solutions on how such nature-based actions can be implemented with the communities to ensure success. And what is critical in this is the issues of also indicators, which came out clearly. And the indicators in this project is aligning with the global discussions on GGA, one of the outcomes of the last year's COP. And looking at it, also these nature-based actions have had a number of indicators that the communities were able to identify, and from it we were able also to co-create and see that using a bottom-up approach of indicator creation also adds value when it comes to effectiveness of implementation of these nature-based climate actions. And we do hope that once we are through with the key informant interviews, we shall be able to write a report which later on we shall again invite these actors, these people who participated in this phase 2 of the project, in the dissemination, so that we can be able to validate and also get other insights from members who will be attending that event. And we do engagements, just to mention two of them. In June, we shall have what we call the SB64 meeting that will be held in Germany, and also we shall have the COP31 meeting that will be held in Turkey. And some of these findings will feed into those global discussions that will be going on in those engagements.
Everything is connected. What happens upstream affects downstream communities. Solutions must be collective. Healthier ecosystems, stronger livelihoods, improved well-being, but also trade-offs that must be addressed. True success is about fairness, inclusion, and dignity. The future depends on our choices today. By working with nature, we can restore balance for people and the planet.